Are you ready? Right, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So today we're going to look into a trend line and regression analysis. As a recap, last seminar, kita dah tengok berkenaan dengan kita dah tengok berkenaan dengan statistical inference, descriptive statistics, introduction to Tableau, analytic of spreadsheet, and introduction to business analysis and business analytics. So hari ni kita akan tengok trend analysis and regression analysis. Next seminar kita akan tengok forecasting and introduction to data mining. Right? So forecasting and introduction to data mining kita excludekan dalam test number 2, right? For your information, test number 2 akan masuk hypothesis testing, which is statistical inference. I hope you already watch all the videos that I give to you previously, right? Semua dalam seminar tu kita cover satu saja. And then next, lepas tu I ada post pelbagai short video regarding that topic kan. So you need to watch that video, right? To understand that topic lah, chapter number 5. And today kita akan tengok trend line and regression analysis. Kalau kita sempat habis hari ni, then so this is the only video lah yang you boleh tengok boleh semula. Kalau tak sempat, and then next week I akan masukkan sikit-sikit short video to complete the chapter lah. Okay, so now kita masuk trend line and regression analysis. Right. So let's look at the first slide ni. Right. So modeling relationship and examining the trend in data. So topik trend line and regression ni kita nak tengok sama ada dia antara dua variable, which is independent and dependent variable. By right you already know lah what is dependent, what is independent variable, right? Ada relationship tak in term of statistical measurement, right? For example, let's say we want to know is there any relationship between smoking, a number of cigarette smoke, and the risk of getting heart disease? So, apa relationship of smoking a cigarette and risk of getting heart disease? Is there a strong relationship or negative relationship, a weak relationship? Right? Kalau dia ada strong relationship, how strong that relationship? We want to know in terms of mathematical measurement. 0.80% strong, or 90% strong, or 50% strong, right? Or weak, kalau dia kurang daripada 50% lah. So dalam statistics or business analytics, right? So kita ada pelbagai function, right? Basically, I believe you already familiar with this function, linear function. You dah belajar, I think semua orang dah belajar dalam SPM dulu kan, which is we want to find a slope kan, we want to find a slope dalam graph. Let's say we have a graph, we have a linear graph. This linear graph ni, the equation will be y equal to mx plus c. Still remember this one? Right? Ni dah kita belajar dulu masa tingkatan 4, I think. 4 atau 3, I think. So m represent slope lah. The slope, the difference between this point and this point, right? So the slope ni kita panggil m. So the c is your intersection. This is c, right? This is c, right? And then y is a y variable, right? Y is this, x is independent variable. So this is dependent variable, and this is independent variable. So independent variable means that the variable that independent, maksudnya dia tak influence mana-mana, dia tak depend kepada mana-mana. So dependent variable is the variable yang kita nak predict, right, yang depend kepada something. So maksudnya heart disease, mesti risk of getting heart disease mesti depend on some factors, kan, such as dia punya cholesterol level, dia punya waist of dia punya waist circumference, dia punya number of cigarette smoke, and apa nama dia punya behavior ataupun apa daily activity, right? So kita nak fokus kepada linear function, right, dalam subjek ni. Yang lain-lain function yang available, we have logarithm function, polynomial function, power function, and exponential function. Tapi kita tak tengok semua tu lah. Kita hanya fokus on linear function. So linear function are used to access whether there is an increase or decrease over range of x. Kita nak tengok trend dia, sama ada trend dia menaik ataupun menurun. So this is a trend, increasing trend. So kalau trend menurun, dia macam ni lah, dia terbalik lah, right? So now let's move to the next part, which is a correlation analysis. Correlation analysis is a statistical techniques, right, used to measure relationship and the strength of relationship between two variables, commonly known as independent variable, which is in x-axis, and dependent variable in y-axis. So basically kita akan draw a graph lah. Sebelum ni kita dah belajar kan macam mana nak draw graph, bar chart and so on. So drawing a graph, you need to remember this is a y-axis, and dekat vertical ni adalah x-axis. X-axis is a independent variable. So independent variable what I change, independent variable what I observe, right? Observe maksudnya kita nak tengok apa yang dah berlaku, apa yang kita berubah adalah dalam independent variable. So independent variable influence the dependent variable lah. Selalu dia akan influence independent variable. So dia akan affect independent variable, dependent variable. Contoh macam yang mudah tadi saya sebut, the risk of getting heart disease, it depend on how many cigarette you smoke. Ya, Akasha, bekerja hari ni. Okey, tak apa. Nanti kita tengok, nanti boleh tengok balik recording lecture, dan jangan lupa hantar assignment secepat yang mungkin. Kalau boleh hari ni lah, sebab I nak marking. I banyak benda yang nak marking. So you mudahkan kerja I mudahkan kerja you. Right. So example of correlation analysis. Right. So example of correlation analysis, in many business situation, managers often want to seek relationship between sales and profit. So dia nak tengok sales dia dengan profit ni macam mana. Sales increase, profit increase tak? Ataupun sales increase, profit down. So something wrong lah. So another one, between advertising expenditure and sales. Sama ada expenditure yang dia invest tu, adakah advertising expenditure yang dia invest tu, adakah menyebabkan sales dia naik ataupun sebaliknya. Kita nak tengok in statistical point of view, right? So basically we want to say that the sales will be determined by profit lah, right? In this case the profit is dependent variable, right? And sales is independent variable. So this is very important part to determine first. Before we start with analysis, we need to know which one is dependent variable and which one is independent variable. So dependent variable, macam tadi saya cakap, dependent variable means they depend on some other factor. To be for that to be happen, they depend kepada other factor. So for example, risk of getting heart disease. Right? Risk of getting heart disease, macam tadi saya kata, mesti dia tak berlaku sendirinya. Dia mesti berlaku bergantung kepada faktor-faktor lain. So, the risk of getting heart disease itu adalah dependent variable. Faktor-faktor lain yang yang menyebabkan berlakunya heart disease itu dipanggil independent variable. For example, number of calories, the waist circumference, the daily activities, number of cigarette smoke, right? Itu adalah faktor-faktor yang menyebabkan risk of heart disease, right? Okay, so you hopefully you understand how to differentiate between dependent variable and independent variable. And before we go further, there is assumption or requirement, a requirement of the analysis. Requirement of the analysis, the dependent variable should be numeric. Right, should be numeric, which is quantitative variable lah. Right, and then another one is independent variable should also be numeric. Right, for us to draw a scatter diagram lah. Right, and the objective of this analysis is we want to measure the strength of relationship, and we want to know the magnitude of the relationship, whether they are increase or decrease, right, of the two variables. So, method to determine correlation. There are three methods to determine correlation. First is by looking into a scatter diagram. Right, so scatter diagram is one of the method of determine the correlation. The second method is Pearson product moment correlation, right, which is the symbol is R, right. So this is only for quantitative variable. Right. So kalau kita tengok dekat sini, graphical method scatter diagram also need a quantitative variable lah, quantitative variable. Dua-dua ni mesti quantitative variable lah. Kalau kita ada categorical variable or qualitative variable, we cannot do a scatter diagram. We cannot proceed with Pearson product moment correlation. We only can proceed with Spearman rank coefficient of correlation. The symbol is rho ataupun RS lah, rho. So, I lebih suka pakai rho, right? This is the symbol, rho. So, this is for qualitative and quantitative variable lah, or quantitative variable. So, there is a assumption kalau data tu tak normal, baru kita boleh pakai. Kalau data tu kuantitatif, tapi dia tak normal, and then baru kita pakai Spearman. Right? Kalau data itu adalah kualitatif, dua-dua adalah kualitatif, dua-dua apa dia? Independent variable and dependent variable. Kualitatif baru kita pakai Spearman. Kita tak pakai scatter diagram, kita tak pakai Pearson. For qualitative only. Boleh faham setakat ni? So, because this one is need some attention kalau tak faham. Okay? Right. Now, kita tengok the strength of correlation. So, once kita dah compute the Pearson product moment correlation, right? So, dia akan bagi the value of product moment correlation and Spearman pun, dia akan bagi value between -1 to 1. The range of the value is from -1 to 1. So, bila R equal to 1 means is a perfect correlation lah. When R between 0.8 to 0.99 indicate strong correlation. From 0.5 to 0.79 indicate moderate correlation. From 0 to 0.49 indicate weak correlation. R equal to 0, there is no linear correlation. No correlation at all. Bukan there no correlation at all, but there are no linear correlation because kita akan measure linear correlation. So, as I said tadi, graph for scatter diagram, dia akan bagi dalam bentuk graph. Sama ada kita boleh tengok graph tu menaik ataupun menurun. Right? Tapi dia tak bagi line kat kita. Dia akan bagi dalam bentuk scattered. Dia akan bagi bentuk macam ni. Right? So, ini kita boleh nampak lah. Dia punya trend dia menurun. Right? This is menurun. Kalau satu lagi dia menaik, dia akan macam ni lah. Right? So dia scattered, sebab tu nama scatter diagram. So kita akan nampak graf dia menaik, right? So either decreasing or increasing. Now kita nak tengok one by one, right? The strength of correlation ni macam ni lah. Ini untuk Pearson product moment correlation dan Spearman rank correlation. Dia akan bagi value. So kita nampak ni ada 3 method kan, scatter diagram, Pearson and Spearman. Scatter diagram dia akan bagi dalam bentuk graf sahaja. So kita boleh tengok dia ada relationship atau tak ada relationship. Tapi how strong the relationship kita tak boleh tahu daripada scatter diagram. So nak tahu berapa strong the relationship, kita hanya boleh measure menggunakan Pearson product moment correlation dan Spearman rank coefficient of correlation. So dalam Spearman rank correlation ni dengan Pearson product moment, dia akan bagi the value of R from -1 to 1. Right? So this is the attribute dia lah, the classification of the value. Right? So kalau R is equal to 0, there are no linear relationship lah. R sama dengan kosong, kita dah belajar tadi, there are no linear relationship. Dia bukan tak ada relationship, tapi dia no linear relationship. Bila R equal to 1, there is a perfect positive linear relationship. Right? Bila R equal to 0.83, there is a strong positive linear relationship. Nampak tak? I highlight sebab this is a positive value, so we indicate this is a positive, right? This is a positive value, kita kata positive. When we have R equal to negative 0.61, negative 0.61 lies dekat moderate kan? 0.61. So since dia adalah negative value, so kita kata moderate negative linear relationship. Right? So sama juga R equal to negative 0.23, kita kata weak negative linear relationship. So you nampak the how to interpret Kalau value of R is positive, kita kata dia positive by indicating how strong lah, strong ke moderate ke weak lah, based on the value classification. Bila dia negative, kita kata dia negative, right? So moderate ke strong tu, it depend on the value, right? The value yang dia lies kat mana. 0.61 dia dekat moderate lah. 0.23 dekat sini, negative 0.23. So kita ignore the negative first. Kita tengok the value. 0.23 dekat mana? 0 to 0.49. So it's a weak. So weak negative linear correlation. Right? Boleh faham Ada soalan setakat ni? This is for understanding first, before we go to the practicability. Ada soalan setakat ni? Tak ada? Hello? I cakap sorang-sorang ke?
Okay, dah tahu.
Okay. Now, kita tengok one by one. A scatter diagram or scatter plot. So, scatter diagram is a graph. Shows the relationship between independent variable. It shows the relationship between independent and dependent variables. So, it's also known as a scatter plot lah. Scatter diagram, scatter plot, benda yang sama. So, in drawing scatter diagram, we can determine the type of correlation between independent and dependent variable. So this is an example of scatter plot, right? So scatter plot macam tadi saya cakap, dia akan bentuk scattered lah. So dia akan bentuk scattered macam ni. So tengok the first one. First one, kita nampak dia scattered nicely menaik, right? Kita nampak scattered dia nicely menaik. Right, so this is what we call a strong positive linear correlation lah. Right, and then yang nombor 2 ni, right, dia nicely dia menurun, right. Dia nampak dia dalam satu line ni dia menurun dengan cantiknya. Right. So ini kita kata strong negative linear relationship lah. And number 3 ni, kita nampak tak? Dia tak ada trend langsung. Dia scattered around the graph, right. Ataupun kita boleh nampak satu lagi, let's say I buat macam ni, dia berbentuk macam ni. Dia suka hati, dia pergi mana-mana. Kita tak nampak pun bentuk menaik ke, menurun ke. Right? So, ini kita panggil no correlation at all lah. Kita tak nampak linear menaik ataupun menurun. So, kalau nombor 4 ni kita nampak, dia nampak menaik, tapi dia nampak macam mencapah sikit. Dia besar sikit. Right? So, ini kita kata weak positive linear correlation. Right? So, nak determine weak ke, strong ke, ataupun weak, moderate kan, kita tak boleh determine dekat sini lah. Right? Dekat correlation scatter diagram ni, kita hanya boleh kata this is a positive correlation because they are increasing from left to right. Right? Increasing from left to right. Kalau dia menurun macam ni, kita kata dia negative correlation. Ini pun sama juga, dia negative correlation, tapi dia agak besar sikit. Dia tak rapat. Nampak tak perbezaan antara dua ni? Nombor 5 dan 2. Right? Perbezaan dia, nombor 2 ni dia rapat. Nombor 5 dia mencapah sikit. Dia scattered. Right? Tapi kita still nampak dia punya trend dia menurun. Right? So this is a negative linear relationship jugalah. So satu lagi, nombor 6, dia tak nampak linear. Dia nampak the first part is linear, the first part ini menaik, the second part menurun. So this is a quadratic relationship. Kita tak kata dia tak ada relationship. Macam nombor 3 ni memang kita kata tak ada relationship langsung lah, sebab dia scattered around the graph. Right? Tapi nombor 6 ni, kita tak kata dia tak ada relationship. Kita kata dia no linear correlation. So there is a relationship. There is a quadratic relationship. A quadratic relationship. Tapi kita tak sebut lah. Kita kata dia no linear relationship. Right? Boleh faham setakat ni? Okay, now let's look at the first data set, right, yang I bagi tadi. You dah download dah data set ni? Boleh download dalam uFuture. I tertutup lah pula I punya uFuture ni. Sekejap ya. You boleh download dalam uFuture, dalam group I discuss. I dah letak week number 11. I letak data set, right? Data correlation. So you download dua-dua. Kita akan menggunakan nombor 1, Sunshine Private Limited. I think this one kita dah tengok sebelum ni. Boleh? Boleh? Sudah buka?
Okay, doktor.
Alright. Boleh So, let me see. Kita dah... Alright. So, but before kita pergi ke detail scatter diagram, tengok dekat sini, Pearson Product Moment Correlation. This is the formula lah. Right. So, dalam scatter diagram, kita hanya tahu dia negative or positive relationship. So, untuk tahu berapa strong the relationship tu, right, kita akan guna Pearson Product Moment Correlation lah. So, Pearson Product Moment Correlation, dia measure relationship between two variables, sama juga macam scatter diagram. Tapi, apa yang dia buat adalah, dia akan bagi the strength or degree of the correlation. Dia akan bagi tahu berapa strong correlation tu. Dia strong ke, moderate or weak correlation. So this is the formula to determine the correlation. So how strong tu kita akan tengok dia punya classification dia tu. Strong dia kita akan tengok based on this table lah. Right? Kalau 1 perfect. Kalau 0 hingga 0.8 hingga 0.99 strong. 0.5 hingga 0.79 moderate. 0 hingga 0.49 weak. And then 0 equal to no correlation lah. Right. Now kita akan menggunakan Sunshine Private Limited. So kita akan tengok trend, sales and selling price. This is the instruction. So we want to know what is the trend for selling price and what is the relationship of the selling price and sales. So but before we go further, we need to understand. We need to determine dulu. Selling price depend on sales ke atau sales depend on selling price? Can somebody tell me? Muhammad Zairi? Muhammad Zairi, boleh determine tak? Selling price depend kepada sales ke? Ataupun sales depend on selling price? This is a logic thing. Can anybody tell me? Boleh siapa-siapa bagi tahu?
Sales depends on selling price.
Sales depend on selling price lah sepatutnya kan? So, bila sales depend on selling price, right? So, sales akan jadi Y, dependent variable. Dependent variable. And selling price is independent variable. So, this is the logic. Dia based kepada logic sahaja. So, dalam scatter diagram, kita kena fikir dululah sebelum kita buat ni. So, dalam X axis and Y axis, so Y is sales and X is selling price. Right? So, kita akan buat macam tu. So, now kita pergi ke this data set. Right? So, kita akan by default, sebelum ni dia akan ada kalau I cuba tutup and buka balik sekejap I dah terpadam. Right, this is a data set yang you dapat kan? Betul, sama kan? Kan tak sama? Sama, right? So, now, dalam data set ni, sebelum kita analyze data, kita kena make sure the data is clean. Right? So, tak ada node dekat sini, tak ada several apa-apalah benda kat sini. And then, tak ada benda yang mengganggu dekat sini. Maksudnya, dekat sini, kita nampak sales, and then row number 2 ni dia tulis Y, AE, SP, and row number 3 dia tulis multiple with 1000 scarf, multiple ni kan. So kita nak basically kita nak buang this one lah. But before that I want to copy this one first. So agar kita tak lupa lah. Alright, this one kita letak dekat sini. Let's say I transpose kat sini. Okay. So, letak kat bawah ni lah. Transpose kan. Alright, and this one I highlight this one dua ni I nak buang. I tak nak tengok kat sini. Right? So I nak make sure I punya data set, nama, variable, bawah ni clean. Semua data. Advertising expenditure, terus the next row mesti data. Sama juga bila you buat analysis apa-apa pun. Make sure benda ni ikut dia punya format. Kalau tak nanti you punya analysis akan terganggu. Okay? So now kita akan highlight sales and selling price. Highlight this one, these two lah. Boleh Are you with me? Follow tak? Dah tengah buka you punya data? Buka data dah, okay? Hey. Hello.
Ya doktor, tengah adjust.
So once you ready, you bagi tahu. I nak tunjuk dekat you. Dah ready dah? Once you ready, you bagi tahu. You import I. Dah ready dah buka data set? Lamanya you nak buka data set? Dah okay. So first, I think you already know lah how to develop a graph kan. So you just highlight the sales and selling price. This is my way lah ha. Maybe there is another way. So you tekan insert button dekat atas ni, insert tab. So you cari bahagian chart, right? Bahagian chart. And then you tengok dekat sini ada scatter diagram. Insert scatter XY. So you highlight, you tekan dekat button yang ada arrow kat bawah ni. You tekan this one lah. Selling scatter diagram. You boleh tekan yang lain-lain, tapi yang lain-lain tak berkenaan lah. Right? You ambil yang simple. The simple always better. Right? Jangan ambil yang complicated, 3D lah apa semua kan. Ambil yang simple, always better. Right? Tekan ni, then you akan dapat this one. And then you need to double check. Tengok balik. Sales patutnya dekat Y. Right? Nampak ah? Sales patutnya dekat Y. Tapi apa yang jadi dekat sini, selling price dekat Y. And then sales dia dekat X. Right? So this is not the right way lah. So kita tekan switch column, select data, right? And then we edit. X value should be selling price lah. Y value should be sales. Sekejap. Something wrong. Ni dah betul lah dia punya graph. Sekejap Let me check again. So series name is sales. X value should be this one. Y value should be this one. Right. Sekali lagi ya, I buat. So, I punya cara macam ni. Sekali lagi ya. So, I pergi ke insert. I tak select lagi lah. I tekan scatter diagram. So, dia akan keluar empty chart ni kan. So, you pergi dekat design ni, dekat hujung ni. Dia akan tulis select data. Right, select data. You boleh nampak right, tu tekan add dekat sini. Right, and then you tekan X value, you ambil selling price. Right, Y value, you ambil sales. Sebab Y should be sales lah. So, dia akan dapat macam ni. Boleh dapat? Are you okay?
Jap.
Sekali lagi ya. Sekali lagi. So, pergi ke insert. Ambil scatter diagram. So, dia akan keluar empty layout chart kan. So, bila you tekan sini, make sure you highlight empty layout ni. So, dia akan keluar, by default, dia akan keluar design dekat atas. Design tab. So, you pergi ke select data. And then, you akan dapat this dialog box. Right. And you tekan dekat legend entry series ni, you tekan add. You tekan add, so dia akan keluar series, edit series. So dekat X value, dia ada button up Ni tekan select range, you ambil selling price. X sepatutnya selling price lah. So dia akan tukar. You nampak dekat sini X exists, dia akan tukar kepada selling price punya range lah. And then dekat Y value ni, you tekan button up, you select sales value lah dekat sini. Right? So you akan dapat graph macam ni. Right? So you tekan OK. Dah sudah? Sudahkah?
Sudah.
Yep. Alright. So then you tekan OK lah. Okay, now. Dekat sini, bila you dah tekan ni, you pergi ke layout. You ambil layout number 6. Sebab I nak ada, ataupun number 1 lah. Number 1 boleh, number 6 boleh. Okay, I think number 1 lah should be okay. Number 1. You ambil number 1, you tekan. So, dekat sini dia ada exist title for X, and then chart title, dia punya graph, and then series ni. Series ni you boleh buang lah. You tekan, dan dia tekan delete. Right? Boleh? Dapat macam ni? Dah dapat? So, this one you akan masuk dalam report nanti kan? Right? You punya report boleh hantar lagi kan? Report project. Report project hantar sebelum 28 lah. Maksudnya 27 tu you kena hantar report project. Okay? Right. So now dekat sini chart title ni you boleh double click. You nampak tak dia boleh ubah title kan? So you kena tulis a scatter diagram showing relationship between sales and selling price. Right? So dalam title ni kena ada apa? Dia kena ada the chart type, which is a scatter diagram. Kita nak buat scatter diagram, kita kena mention a scatter diagram. Kita nak tengok apa? Kita nak tengok relationship. Right? Relationship. This is the type of analysis yang kita nak tengok. And data apa yang involve? Ada sales dan selling price. Ini benda yang elemen yang kena ada dalam title. And as this title for X ni, kita tulis selling price. And as this title for Y, kita letak sales lah. Right? Boleh. Tapi kalau you tengok dekat sini, apa problem dengan chart ni? Chart ni problemnya dekat bahagian yang pertama ni, the first ni kosong. This is not an appropriate chart lah to draw. Right? Kalau chart yang bagus, figure yang bagus, dia mesti penuh. Right? Dia mesti penuh, mengisi ruang chart tu. So apa yang kita nak buat adalah kita nak buang bahagian yang kosong. So bahagian yang kosong ni maybe dia start from 0 to 12 ni, mungkin kita kena buang lah. So kita tekan this one, double click, right? So bila kita double click dekat sini, automatic dia akan keluar format as is dekat sini, right? Format as is, and then kita make sure dia ada fill and line, effect and size and properties, and dekat sini as is option. So you tekan ke as is option. The minimum dia kata kosong hingga 20. So kita nak buang yang kosong, yang empty bahagian kosong ni, maybe dia dekat 12. Kita try 12. Minimum kita daripada kosong ni kita letak 12 hingga 20. So nampak tak? Dia dah memenuhi kat sini dah. Boleh faham tak? Boleh dapat? Okay. Next, kita tengok dekat bahagian Y ni. Bawah ni kosong. Kita nak memenuhi ruang. Right? So kita akan tekan bahagian Y axis ni. And kita pergi ke axis option dekat hujung ni. Right? And then kita tekan axis option. The minimum, maybe kita try buang daripada 120. 100 lah. Kita try 100 dulu. Right, 100 hingga 250 kan. Dia letak, so nampak tak dia dah memenuhi juga. Tapi still ada kosong kat bawah ni. Maybe start with 120 lah. So nampak tak? Dia dah memenuhi ruang. Right? Dia dah memenuhi ruang. Ataupun kalau you nak lagi bagus, 230. Tapi 230 tak logik lah. Maybe 230. Try tengok. Dia terlebih lah pula kan. Sebab dia based on 20-20. Dia punya jarak, interval dia 20. So 240 ni is a nice interval lah. Okay. So kita akan dapat macam ni. Okay. Dah. Sudah? Sudah ke? Right. So once you sudah, you nampak tak chart ni? I akan tekan, bila daripada sini I nampak apa sini? You nampak menurun kan? You nampak menurun kan? So ini adalah decreasing trend, right? Trend menurun. Ataupun dalam bahasa statistik kita panggil negative correlation. Sebab you nampak dia punya trend dia menurun. Saya tulis sikit. Nampak menurun. Right? So tapi I tak nak tulis guna tangan I, right? I tak nak writing by I punya hand. So apa yang nak buat adalah I nak tekan dekat sini. Make sure I select everything. The bulat-bulat ni. Nampak tak I select bulat ni? I select dia punya point. So biar I select semua point ni, right? I right click dekat point ni. So you akan nampak add trend line. You tekan add trend line, right? So dekat sini dia akan keluar trend line option. So dia ada banyak lah, exponential, dia ada logaritma, polynomial, power, moving average, and linear. Since kita belajar linear, kita nak dia linear lah. So kita biar dia linear. And then dekat bawah sekali ni, dia ada set intercept, dia ada display equation on chart, dia ada display R square value on chart. So you tekan R square value on chart and display equation on chart. So ada dua dekat sini. So dia akan keluar sini lah. So you boleh adjust dia bawa ke atas lah. Maybe letak ke atas ni. Right. So tapi untuk scatter diagram, I tak berapa suka ada line-line dekat sini. Line-line ni. So I nak highlight line ni, I akan tekan delete. So nampak kosong lah. And then baru nampak nice. So this is a scatter diagram. Right. So scatter diagram ni kita kata apa? We have, there is a negative linear relationship ataupun correlation between sales and selling price. Right? So kita boleh conclude kan daripada graf ni, there is a negative linear relationship ataupun negative linear correlation between sales and selling price. So, next, kita nak tengok dia punya correlation. How strong the correlation. Right? So, now, next, dah siap ini? This one dah siap? Sudah? Can you type the comment? Sudah ke belum? Sudah, ha? Alright. Now, I nak tengok the next one, which is Pearson chi-square. Pearson correlation. Right? Wait, before I go there. Pearson correlation. This one. Pearson correlation. I dah tahu. Ini adalah negative correlation. Negative linear correlation. So, I nak tahu how strong the correlation. Right? So how strong the correlation? I can select this one, and this one. Right? I can pergi ke tab data, right, tab data ni, I akan tekan data analysis. Right, kita tekan data analysis and make sure semua orang dah ada, kita dah tengok sebelum ni kan. And then you tekan correlation. You tekan correlation and tekan OK. Right. So now dekat input range ni, right. So kita tengok input range ni, data kita adalah by column kan, bukan by row, okay? By column. Column B, column C, column D and E. So kita tekan this one. Sama ada kita nak select macam ini, right? Ataupun kita nak select semua. Kita select semua lah, senang. Right? Kita select semua. Select semua daripada sales sampai bawah ni. Right? So this one for input range. And group by, kita ambil by column. Right? By column. And dekat sini, by default dia tak take lah label in first row. Sebab kita dah select sekali dengan label. Right? The data sales, advertising, expenditure. Kita kata the first row adalah labels. Alright, and then kita output option ni, kita tekan output range, kita letak dekat mana yang kita nak tengok result dia. Let's say I letak dekat bawah ni, dekat G24. So I tekan this one. So I letak kat G24, sudah. And then I tekan OK. So I akan dapat the what we call a correlation analysis by using Pearson product moment correlation. Right. So this one I letak right sikit bagi dia nampak. Okay. Okay. So now dekat sini you dah dapat matrik, satu matrik dekat sini. Kita tengok sales and sales and selling price. So sales and selling price, the value is negative 0.82. So the value of Pearson product moment ni, dia mesti sama dengan apa yang kita dapat dalam graph. Graph ni kita dapat negatif, so the value should be also negative. So dekat sini kita dapat 0.82. Kita boleh tulis lah, the R value is equal to negative 0.827. 27 means 83 lah, right? 83. So first conclusion kita dapat, there is a negative linear relationship between sales and selling price. Based on the Pearson correlation, coefficient of correlation, kita dapat sales and selling price, the value is negative 0.83. So now we look back at our table ni, right? 0.83 adalah between 0.8 and 0.99. This one you kena screenshot, make sure dalam buku I not sure ada tak. I think tak ada. So this is a strong. So apa yang kita boleh tulis kat sini, there is a strong negative linear correlation atau linear relationship between sales and selling price. Apa maksud dekat sini negative relationship? Kalau price increase, the sales will decrease. If the price increase, the sales will decrease. Right? Kalau kita tinggikan harga, jualan kita akan menurun. So ini adalah conclusion dia lah. Boleh faham? Do you understand? I need the confirmation. Do you understand or not understand? Hello?
Okay, Doctor, okay.
Faham Right. So now, why we need the equation? the y equal to negative 11.312 plus 353.57, and r squared adalah coefficient of determination, right? So the r squared came from the square of r value lah. So maksudnya kalau kita letak equal, kita letak the power 0.83 power of 2. So power dekat sini adalah this one. So kita akan dapat the same value kat sini, ataupun the square root of 0.684. So kita akan dapat value yang sama dengan this one. Nampak tak? Right? So this is the r square ni datang daripada Pearson chi-square lah. Right? The equation dekat sini, kita nampak dekat sini the equation dia tulis y equal to negative 11.312 x plus 353.57. So the first value dekat sini adalah the slope kan. Kalau kita terbalikkan y equal to mx plus c, remember? So this is the slope, right? The slope. Slope kalau negatif maksudnya the negative slope lah, dia menurun. Okay? Boleh faham? So I hope you understand this part. Right? Your task balik nanti, dah habis kelas nanti, you nak faham balik, I nak you try buat advertising expenditure and sales, research and development expenditure and sales. Nak tengok juga dia punya relationship. Try buat, but make sure you understand lah. Now we going to move on the regression method. Boleh faham? Okay? Ada soalan tak? Kalau ada soalan, tanya sekarang. Ataupun kemudian boleh tanya jugalah, no problem. Kalau tak ada soalan, kita akan move to the next topic, which is regression. Regression. Mana tu regression? Ke bawah sikit Okay, before we go to the regression, right? Tadi I explain the R value kan? The R square. The R square equal to berapa tadi? Kita dapat 0.68. 0.684. What does it mean? It means that the factor that contribute to sales, the factor contribute to sales, this is sales. Factor contribute to sales is 68.4% come from selling price. The balance here, and the balance lagi, balance berapa? 32.6, right? Is it 31.6 or 32.6? Let me use calculator lah. 100 tolak 68.4, 31.6, right? 31.6 came from others factor. Others factor that not include into our model lah. Tadi model kita hanya selling price and sales. So lagi banyak persen, lagi kuat the value, the variable contribute to the sales. Boleh faham? Okay? Boleh? So the coefficient of determination again measure the proportion of the variation in y variable that can be explained by the variation in x variable. So maksudnya kita kata dekat sini 68%, 68.4%, mana dapat 68 ni? Daripada R square. The R square, bukan R sahaja. Kalau kita tadi R ni, R value adalah the Pearson coefficient. The R square is the square of 0.83 ni lah. Right? Kita dapat 0.6884. So maksudnya 68.4% of the variation in variation in tulislah 68.4% of the total variation in sales comes from selling price, where 31.6% of the variation in sales comes from others factor, not in the model. Okay, boleh faham? I hope you understand lah. Right. So next kita akan masuk simple linear regression. So I think kita akan ambil 5 minit rehat dulu lah. Okay, boleh? 5 minit rehat sebelum we proceed to simple linear regression. So kita akan jumpa balik 9.42 9.43 lah. Okay? Boleh?
Okay, okay, boleh Doktor.
Alright. Boleh kita continue?
Okay Doktor, okay.
Alright, okay. Alright. Now, let's look at a simple linear regression. So, simple linear regression ni adalah statistical techniques to estimate the best fit line to show relationship between dependent variable and independent variable. Remember, tadi kita dah buat scatter diagram kan? Ingat tak? Scatter diagram. So, kita dapat macam ni lah. Right? Kita dapat macam ni, dia scattered lah. Right? And then, kita nak tengok tadi, kita dah buat satu line dalam Excel. Ingat tak? Dalam Excel, kita dah buat satu line ni. Right? So, line ni dinamakan linear regression. Right? Kita nak estimate which line yang best fit, yang boleh, yang sesuai dengan data yang scattered ni. So, data yang scattered ni mesti, line ni mesti yang the minimum atau best fit lah. Maksudnya jarak di antara point-point ni, the standard deviation mesti minimum. Right? Itulah lah line dia. Kita boleh buat line tempat lain. Macam ni line, kita boleh letak line kat bawah ataupun line kat atas. Tapi adakah line di bawah dengan atas ni best fit? Right? Kita tak tahu. So, kita akan estimate satu line yang mana dia adalah minimum distance dengan lain-lain. Nampak tak? Arrow yang line ni dengan point ni mestilah minimum. So, itu dia namakan linear regression lah. So, apa tujuan linear regression ni? Tadi kita buat scatter diagram. Kita tahu this is a negative correlation. Right? And then we do Pearson product moment correlation. We get negative 0.8. So, there is a strong negative correlation. So, regression ni, dia akan repeat benda yang sama. Tapi, dia akan tambah satu lagi value bila kita nak buat prediction. Bila kita increase selling price, katalah kita letak selling price RM RM15. RM RM15. So, we want to know what is estimated sales yang kita akan dapat. Right? Of course, kita boleh tarik line macam ni lah. Ikut line nya. Tapi, kita nak buat by equation. So, we can estimate directly berapa kita punya sales akan dapat. So, ini adalah base kepada linear regression equation lah. Y equal to A plus BX. Ataupun Y equal to MX plus C. Benda yang sama. Sometimes kita kata Y equal to B0 plus B1X1. Mana-mana buku mungkin ada perbezaan lah. Tapi konsep dia sama saja. A plus BX or MX plus C. Maksud MX yang ni lah. Dia terbalikkan. So, B dekat sini adalah, so kita akan start menggunakan simbol A and B. Right? Menggantikan M dan C. Right? So, B adalah sama dengan M, which is the slope of the line, and A sama dengan C, which is Y-intercept. Y adalah dependent variable, X adalah independent variable. So, contoh tadi kita dapat line dia tadi mana tu? Y equal to negative 11.32. Let me copy this one and put here. Right. So, letak sini. So, tadi kita dapat equation ni kan. Y equal to 11.31 to X plus 353. Right? Ataupun kita boleh letak in proper way, Y equal to 353.57 minus 11.312X. So, let's say kita increasekan, this is a selling price kan? Selling price. Ingat yang tadi kita buat, this is sales. So, kita nak tahu, what is a sales when, kita nak estimate Y, sales, when selling price kita set at RM15. Right? So, kita masukkan nilai value. Y equal to, Y hat equal to 353.57 minus 11.312 multiply with 15. So, kita akan dapat the value of sales. Right? Itu matlamat kita lah untuk simple linear regression. So, untuk simple linear regression, the requirement, right? Requirement, we need to have one dependent variable, and this dependent variable should be continuous, quantitative. And another one is one independent variable. It can be continuous. No, sorry. It can be quantitative variable or qualitative variable. Quantitative, remember we have continuous or discrete kan? So it can be either continuous quantitative or discrete quantitative, ataupun kita ada nominal scale or ordinal scale. Mana-mana pun boleh. For independent variable lah. Right? Boleh faham? So this is the formula, right, for B and X, right? How to determine B and how to determine Y, A. So Y equal to A plus BX kan? Remember? Tapi kita takkan tengok lah formula ni, because we're going to use using Excel. So now, by using Microsoft Excel, so first kita kena click on data tab. Nanti I explain about this lah, right? So kita akan menggunakan selling price and sales, right? So now where is my data? Okay, now. So tadi kita dah dapat scatter diagram. Kita dah tengok Pearson coefficient of correlation. Now kita nak buat regression analysis. So dalam regression analysis dia ada hypothesis. Hypothesis statement. Right? The null hypothesis, there is a linear relationship between sales. So there is no linear relationship lah untuk null hypothesis, sales and selling price. For alternative hypothesis, there is a linear relationship between sales and selling price. Right. So the next, our p-value, alpha significant level is 0.05. And then statistical test, right? Statistical test should be, kita akan base kepada p-value lah. P-value. Atau ada yang nak guna t-value pun boleh. So now, how to do it? Kita akan pergi ke data tab. Are you with me? Kita pergi ke data tab. Boleh? And kita akan pergi ke data analysis. And now, kita akan cari regression. Cari regression. Nampak tak? And click OK. So, once you dapat this one, you nampak tak dia ada dua section. Satu input, satu lagi output. Right? Satu input, satu lagi output. So, input kita akan masuk, Y input kita akan masuk selling price, sales lah. Sales, kita select sales semua ni. And click this one. Right? And then, kita akan masukkan input X as is, selling price. Kita select semua ni. Right? Now, dah buat this one? Sudah? And then, kat bawah ni dia ada label. Kita check label because label is our first row ni. And then kita check confidence interval 95%. Right? And then, kita akan letak dekat mana result kita. Output option. Tekan output range. Right? Output range. Kita tekan dekat sini. Let's say I nak letak result I dekat sebelah sini lah. Right? Sebelah sini. So, I tekan M31. Contoh, I letak kat M31 lah. You boleh letak kat mana-mana lah. Tak kisah. Right? So, next. Dekat residual ni. I nak residual plot and normal probability plot. Tiga benda ni. Residual plot, normal probability plot. Boleh? Boleh ke? Tapi I think I ubah fikiran sikit. Residual plot ni I tak nak lagi. I just ambil residual and normal probability plot. Boleh? Kalau boleh, cakap boleh.
Okay, dah, okay.
Alright, sudah And then I click OK lah. Click OK. So, nampak tak dia keluar summary output. Summary output dia ada banyak table kat sini. Table 1, regression statistic, ANOVA, and then T statistic, and then dia ada residual output, probability output, and where is my sekejap. Normal probability plot dia letak kat atas pula Tak apa, kita letak tepi ni. Right. Nampak I kecilkan. This is the result yang kita nak. Right, yang kita akan dapat. Right. So now kita akan pergi one by one. Alright. Okay. Now, first table dia akan bagi kat kita multiple R and R squared. So R squared ni sama dengan R squared yang kita dapat dalam graph tadi. Nampak tak? 0.684. Dia sama. Right? So this is a full value. What does it mean? Apa maksud R squared ni? Right? I boleh tulis kat sini. The total, sorry I tulis tepi sikit lah. I buat, okay, I mergekan this one so we can get the proper result. There are 68.4% of the total variation in sales can be explained by selling price. Right. Right. So this is the meaning of R squared. And then kita tengok sini dia ada observation. We have 20 observation. Maksudnya kita ada 20 data. Right. And then kita move to the ANOVA table. ANOVA table means that there is an hypothesis for ANOVA table ni. Right. Where is it? So hypothesis dia, null hypothesis, the model is not fit for prediction. I tulis tak cantik sekejap. Diganggu oleh plot sekejap. So for ANOVA, null hypothesis, the model is not fit for prediction. Alternative hypothesis, the model is fit for prediction. So since the p-value here is less than 0.05, we going to reject null hypothesis. We accept null alternative hypothesis. So we can say that the model here is fit for prediction. Maksudnya kita boleh buat prediction lah. Now, next kita akan move to the next table. The next table is, this is the hypothesis yang kita nak buat lah. There is no linear relationship between sales and selling price. There is a linear relationship between sales and selling price. The alpha is 0.05. The test statistic is p-value, using p-value. Right? So, now, kita nampak dekat sini. Atas sikit, okay. So, the coefficient dekat sini, kita ada intercept and selling price. So, Y equal to, the intercept is 353.57, right? Selling price is negative 11.31, 32 lah, X. X is a selling price, Y is sales, this is intercept. So this is A, this is B. Boleh faham? So A is equal to 353.57, B is equal to negative 11.31. Right. So since there is a negative correlation, right? Negative correlation dekat sini, graph ni negative. So the value of B should also negative. Right? Kalau kita dapat contradict, something wrong dengan kita punya analysis lah. And then this is the T value. Kita akan tengok kepada selling price, right? Kita akan fokus on selling price. Kita tak akan tengok kepada intercept, kita tengok kepada selling price. So the T value kita boleh tulis kat sini. T value lah, ni kecilkan sikit so kita boleh nampak, right? Right. The T value, T statistic without S is negative 6.2. So negative 6.24. The degree of freedom is equal to 19. Sebab kita ambil dekat sini lah. Right? 19. Boleh? And the P value dekat sini is equal to less than 0.05 lah. Maksudnya dia sangat kecil value ni. Value ni sangat kecil kalau kita tengok dekat dalam nilai dia. Dia sama dengan ni . Sangat kecil kalau you highlight dia nampak dia kalau you tekan dia sangat kecil, negative 0.6 kan. So kalau dia sangat kecil macam ni, kita akan tulis less than 0.0001. Right? Maksudnya bukan dia kosong, dia ada value tapi sangat kecil. Okay, now we have a 95% confidence interval, right? Right? 95% confidence interval. So now our decision rule, if the p value is less than 0.05, which is our alpha ni, null hypothesis is rejected. So our decision, right, since p value is less than 0.05, null hypothesis is rejected. Right? So we can conclude that right, there is a linear relationship between sales and selling price. Right? Boleh? Okay? Boleh? Boleh cakap tu So, then residual output ni apa nak buat? This is for assumption checking lah, right? So, kalau kita tengok dekat normal probability plot ni, mana tu normal probability plot? Kita besarkan sikit. So, dia nampak menaik kan? So, let's see. Add trend line, linear, right? So, kita nampak dia menaik. So, dia around the line ni. So, it's okay lah. So, maksudnya dia normal, right? Another one, kita akan tengok residual plot ni. Tapi, I tak nak peningkan kepala you lagi. Kita berhenti setakat tu saja, right? Untuk our class, right? Yang residual check ni semua nanti, maybe I akan post a video. Tapi, itu tak termasuk dalam kita punya test lah. Sebab this is one of the requirement juga. Tapi, kita berhenti setakat tu dulu. Make sure you understand how to interpret the regression line. So now, apa yang kita boleh buat dalam regression ni? So kita dah dapat equation. Our equation is y, since dia ada linear regression, a linear relationship, and the ANOVA is says that the model is fit for prediction. You can use the equation 353.57 minus 11.31x to do a prediction. If x, which is selling price, equal to 14, right, kita boleh predict for y, which is sales. Sales will be 353.57 minus 11.31 multiply with 14, right? So you masukkan dalam equation. So 353.57 minus kurungan 11.31 multiply with 14. So you akan dapat 195. So the sales will be 195,000 ringgit. Boleh faham? Sebab ni kita kena tahu dia punya data ni for sales dia mesti kali dengan 1000. This is scarf lah. 195 multiply with 1000. So it should be 195.23 multiply with 1000. So kita akan sell 195,230 scarf if the price of the scarf is 14 ringgit. Boleh faham? Boleh kan cakap tu? Hello?
Okey, boleh ke?
Boleh?
Okay, dah, okay.
Boleh ya? Okay, good. So, I think that is for simple linear regression lah. Right. Boleh kita teruskan ataupun you nak rehat lagi? Nanti slide ni akan bagi dekat you lah. So, you boleh baca, okay? Right. So now, let's look at multiple linear regression. Right, multiple linear regression. So, tadi kita kaji satu variable at a time. Right, at a time, satu variable. So, kita nak tahu juga, mesti ada, kita tahu tadi, 68%, 68.4% of the total factor came from a selling price. How about another 31.26% tadi tu? Ini datang daripada mana? So, mungkin dia datang daripada lain-lain faktor. Contoh macam advertising expenditure, macam research and development, right? So, juga mempengaruhi sales, right? So, kita nak tahu, selain daripada selling price, apa lagi faktor yang contribute kepada kita punya sales? Right, so itu dengan itu kita akan buat multiple linear regression. So multiple linear regression is a bit complex berbanding dengan simple linear lah. So this is the equation, right? So sama juga, tak susah pun. This is a dependent variable and this is a independent variable, right? Kalau kita ada banyak kan, so this is a intercept. Right, which is A lah. This is B, B, B. Right, so dalam ni kita tak panggil A and B lah. Kita akan panggil B0, B1, B2, B3 and so on lah. Okay. Now, let's say kita nak tengok the hypothesis are same kita akan check one by one juga. So kita nak tengok kesemua ni, right? Kesemua faktor ni, adakah dia memberi impact kepada sales, right? So, of course, sebelum kita nak proceed, kita kena buat one by one dulu lah. This is what we call a simple linear regression. And kalau semua ni kita panggil multiple linear regression, right? So, first kita kena pergi ke data, right? Data analysis, and kita ambil regression. Sama juga kita tekan OK. And then input of Y, kita akan ambil sales. Right? Input of X, kita akan ambil the remaining. Advertising expenditure until research development. Kita highlight semua. Boleh faham? And then, benda yang sama juga. Residual normal plot ni I tak nak lah. Mengganggu saja kan. So, residual I nak. Right? Output range, kita letak something yang bawah sikit lah. Ke bawah ni. Okay, kita letak kat sini lah. Tepi ni, okay. I letak dekat I77. Right? And then I click OK. So, dia akan bagi macam ni. Result yang sama, tapi kalau you perasan, the table dekat sini, dia ada semua. Advertising expenditure, selling price, research and development. Right? So, before we go further, kita tengok dekat sini, dekat table number 3 ni. Right? Table number 3 ni, dia akan bagi coefficient. Kita tengok one by one dulu. Right, coefficient. So, this is the formula of the regression equation. Y equal to 238.64. And then, advertising expenditure, which is positive, plus 0.133x1. Selling price is negative. So, minus 7.72x2. And research and development is positive, so kita tambah 2.38 x3. So we know that this is for advertising expenditure, this is for selling price, and this is for research and development, and this is for sales. So now before we go further, kita akan tengok another part, which is p-value dekat sini. P-value, kalau kita nampak dekat sini, p-value for advertising expenditure is more than 0.05. P-value for research and development is more than 0.05. Maksudnya, advertising expenditure and research and development tak memberi contribution langsung kepada sales secara kolektif, right? Secara kolektif, right? Tapi kalau kita buat one by one, dia memberi correlation significant, right? Tapi bila kita combine semua, dia tak memberikan apa-apa kolektif action lah, impact kepada sales. Tapi kalau kita tengok dekat p-value for ANOVA is less than 0.05, right? Apa maksud ANOVA? ANOVA kita kata the model is fit for prediction ataupun tak fit for prediction, kan? So since the p-value for ANOVA is fit for prediction, so the model equation ni boleh pakai lah. Boleh pakai. Walaupun there is no relationship on advertising expenditure and no relationship on research development with the collective action, collective factor. Kalau individual dia ada relationship. So now kita tengok R square. R square is 0.77. 0.77 means that let me letak this one. There are 70, this one tak boleh. Right, letak sini. This one, I nak terangkan. There are 77.6% of the total variation of sales can be explained by advertising expenditure, selling price, and research and development. Right? Right? So this is the meaning of R squared kat sini. Right? Boleh faham? So if you want to do a prediction, let's say your selling price, kita ambil logic sikit lah. Let's say kita ambil dekat sini. So this is a research advertising expenditure. Let's say X1, this is X2, this is X3. So let's say kita punya advertising expenditure is 189, sales kita selling price kita RM13 and research and development kita 18. So nak tahu berapa sales dia, we just input the value dalam equation lah. So let me show to you. Ambil color lain, color biru. So Y hat should be equal to 138.64 plus 0.133 multiplied with 189 minus 7.72 multiplied with 13 plus 2.38 multiplied with 18. So you akan dapat the estimated sales value. Okay? Ada faham ke? Students, do you understand or you confused? Faham ke? Hello?
Hello. Okay, fine. Okay, sir.
Okay, dah okay.
Okay, good. So, that is for our result presentation lah. Result analysis. So, how to present? Kalau dia nak letak dalam report, macam mana you nak letak dalam report? You nak letak dalam report, let's say, let me open Word. Okay, let's say kita buat multiple linear regression lah. Simple linear regression dulu. Table 1. Relationship between relationship sales and selling price. Right. So apa yang kena ada adalah the value of mean and standard deviation and the p value, t statistics, degree of freedom. That's all. So I think cukup banyak ni kot. Yup, I think sini lah. Okay. So variable, right? And then mean and standard deviation, right? This is a crude coefficient, and then this is t statistic and degree of freedom, and this is a p value, right? So kita kata selling price, kita akan letak dia punya independent variable lah. So mean and standard deviation kita akan ambil dekat mana? So this one I tunjuk yang the first one. Mean and standard deviation kita kena kira lah. So let's say I nak this one, I tekan data analysis, ambil descriptive statistic. This one kita dah belajar sebelum ni kan. So input range adalah this one, and then I nak first label column output range, I nak letak dekat sini, right? So I nak summary statistic only, tekan OK. Oh, dia override So override tak nak. Tak boleh patah balik dah, alamak. Dah tersilap tak boleh patah balik dah, alamak. Dia dah override. Macam mana nak buat? I tulis dekat sinilah, hujung ni. Okay. So tekan OK, tekan OK. Oh. Kejap saya letak sini. Okay. So now dia bagi banyak kan. So kita nak ambil selling price saja. Dekat sini selling price adalah 15.3 dan so this one 15.3, the standard deviation is 1.98, right? The crude coefficient I akan ambil dekat sini lah. The crude coefficient negative 11. I akan ambil negative 11.31, right? The t statistic akan ambil dekat sini negative 6.24 with degree of freedom 19. The p value is less than 0.0001. Right? Kalau dia ada value dekat sini, you akan ambil until 4 decimal point. Right? So this is a simple regression analysis lah. And then you tulis A, sales is dependent variable. The simple linear regression was applied, the intercept value is berapa? Intercept value is berapa intercept? 353.57. So this is how you create a table lah. So this one kena letak kat atas. And then of course kalau kita buat footnote kan, footnote mesti kecil lah, right? Kecil. Okay, this is how to present the result, right? So let's say kita nak tengok present the result of multiple linear regression, relationship of sales and others factor, contoh. Right, so kita akan menggunakan banyak factor lah, selling price, research and development. So the selling price will be here. I copy and tak ke sini sebab dia duduk tengah-tengah kan. Right, sini kan? Right. Right. So saya padam dulu. So this is first one is advertising. Expenditure. Selling price and research and development. So mean and standard deviation ni I tak nak tulis dah. Apa yang I nak buat kat sini adalah lain, right? So I letak crude coefficient and adjusted coefficient, right? So crude coefficient ni I akan ambil daripada simple linear regression, right? Simple linear regression which is negative 11.31, right? Negative 11.31. The crude adjusted coefficient adalah dekat sini, negative 7.72, right? So sama juga yang ni 0.133, and the one is 2.38. 33 ni kita boleh tulis semua point lah. And crude coefficient ni untuk advertising, expenditure and research development, you kena buat satu lagi, simple linear regression for sales and advertising expenditure. Ambil dia punya crude coefficient, letak kat sini. Crude coefficient yang ni lah. And sama juga untuk research development. T selesai you boleh isi. So this is 1.27 with degree of freedom 19. And then this one negative 3.59, 19. And the last one is 1.355 with degree of freedom 19. And the p value you boleh ambil dekat sini 0.2218, 0.0024, ambil 4 decimal point 1.90947, right? So dia punya intercept adalah berapa? 238.65. Ni kita tak kata simple lah, kita kata multiple linear regression was applied. Sales is a dependent variable and this is the presentation, right? Letak tengah-tengah elok lah. Okay, boleh faham. So ini yang crude coefficient ni you kena run one by one. Run balik one by one, you akan dapat. Boleh faham? So you boleh screenshot this one, right? The table. Nanti dalam report you kena tulis macam ni lah, right? Bukan copy and paste, dia tulis macam ni. Okay. So report nanti akan hantar pada 27 hari bulan 1. Boleh? You need to submit your report on 27 January 23. Ada soalan before we end our session? Jangan lupa sign in attendance. Attendance very important. Attendance ada kan? Attendance lupa buat. Ada ya, alright. Attendance ada, okay. So jangan lupa isi attendance, and if you have any question, you can ask me anytime in the group, okay? In WhatsApp group. Ada soalan tak before we end our session? Hello?
Ada doktor.
Okay, I think that's all. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum.